Podcast is intended for mature audiences. The views and opinions expressed are those of the panelists and do not reflect in any way those of the podcast partners, sponsors, or affiliates. Enjoy.
Hi, this is Michael Buffer, and you're listening to the voice of the people. Let's get ready for Boxing Voice.
ThaBoxingvoice.com.
You need that fear.
All I'm trying to do is make a stand for something that I truly believe is right. I truly believe is right. I want to be like you. Come on, man. I'm the face of boxing. I'm the cash cow. I hold the record for pay-per-view.
My job, I know my job, I know my situation. I want to fight.
Production.
Check it, you know. But it's gonna be very difficult for both of us.
ThaBoxingvoice.com.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of the Boxing Voice Radio. I am your host, Nestor Gibbs. We're back with a spontaneous edition. We're here to report on Eddie Hearn's newest, latest, freshest comments. How I like to put it, latest roadblock in what will be Anthony Joshua versus Deontay Wilder. I feel that all these headlines are coming because the rope is getting tighter. The walls are starting to feel closer, and you're forced to have to talk about the man you really don't want to face. And we'll address as to how I came to this conclusion based upon these quotes. But let me head on now to the Golden State, to my co-host, the Hipster Hunter, so we can get this thing started.
Dollar DiBiase Production.
This is a beautiful performance against a very tough guy in Michael Johnson. How do you feel about it?
Fuck yeah. Conor McGregor.
ThaBoxingvoice.com.
You know me, Larry. From a wicked entrance, from a flip over the rope into a knockout. When the main thing is, I just help the guy. I wish.
ThaBoxingvoice.com.
Yes, the hipsters here. Haters beware. And I think we're going to get some hate on this show. I think it's just one of those times where, because it's Wilder news and it's Joshua and UK fans may not like the show, we're going to get some hate, and that's fine. But I also think Eddie Hearn is going to get some hate for this comment as well, saying that's not anywhere near, those words specifically, not anywhere near a 50-50 split with Deontay Wilder. I think that's highly interesting. I can't wait to gauge what the opinion is from the boxing audience and the boxing public. Can't wait to chop it up with you, Ness, and the callers.
No 50-50 deal. I guess
No,
the soundbite.
It's not like 60-40. 60-40 is close, right? Wouldn't 60-40 be close to 50-50?
Yeah.
It's not anywhere near 50-50. So what is it, 75-25? Is that what
I know 75-25 is outrageous. Daniel Jacobs didn't take that. He's an Al Heyman fighter. He didn't take it for the biggest fight of his career. No way that Deontay will. But what I do want to say is the soundbite is because maybe I agree with Eddie Hearn.
Ooh, wow. Whoa. Twilight Zone here.
Just saying, 50-50 is a lot to ask for. I told Deontay, I'm being lazy with the interview. I was sleeping all afternoon. I didn't publish the latest interview that we did with him, but you know that I told him, like, yo, let's be honest, man. I mean, old boy doesn't need him. Joshua doesn't need him. And if you start demanding, not ridiculous demands, but if you can find the direct quote, I believe Eddie Hearn said the word ridiculous, and he's not only talking about Wilder, though. Let's be clear. He's talking about Joseph Parker as well. He's saying that if any of them think that this is a 50-50 fight, they're crazy and it's never going to happen. So I want to read the direct quotes because they were a bit interesting, but Joshua does bring everything to this party. So 50-50, it really doesn't make sense. I'm just being honest.
True. And, I think a lot of people that are going to defend Deontay Wilder and Joseph Parker here are going to say, well, Klitschko got 50-50 coming off a loss and a 2-year layoff. Yeah, but let's all admit that was to get Klitschko back in the ring. That was they gave Klitschko more money than he probably deserved because they wanted that win under their belt. Just like they paid Charles Martin to get that title shot. They paid him more than he was worth. You can make an argument they paid Klitschko more than he was worth to get that fight. Because now, like you said, Joshua's in the driver's seat because of that win.
I don't think they overpaid Klitschko. I mean, listen, at the end of the day, no one in Team Wilder can complain that or argue that they are more popular in and out of the boxing world when compared to Vladimir Klitschko. Vladimir also brought a title. I know that Deontay will be bringing a title to his fight with Anthony Joshua, but in that fight, it was one title each. You know, even though that WBA was vacant, it was put on the line because of Vladimir Klitschko, so it was one title each. This one would be 3 titles versus 1 WBC title. You know, a guy selling out 70, 80, 90,000 tickets every time at bat versus, you know, we'll see what the Barclay does this upcoming Saturday in about 2 weeks here, for November 4th at the Barclays Center when Deontay Wilder defends his WBC title against Bermane Stiverne, who the quote I read today, and it almost brought tears to my eyes. And I said, they have to be misleading. You know, they have to be misleading us, misrepresenting something he said, because I think the quote read something like, Bermane Stiverne, I took all of Wilder's best shots. And it's like, man, that's the game plan, huh? Just get hit on the face this time around all over again. But yeah, I mean, let's get into those quotes, man. There are a few that
I have a couple up if you want me to.
Oh, go for it.
It's from the most recent article about, I think he did a follow-up interview about this exact quote.
At 1:58, what time you got? The Wednesday one? Which one?
The 9:44 p.m. But again, our times could be different. I don't know if that's the same. On October 21st.
What title then?
Hearn is firm. I want Wilder, White next. Never 50-50 for Joshua. That's the name of the title on Boxing Scene. Got it. The quote's at the bottom. It says, the deal in Wilder's head is a 50-50 split, but over my dead body is that ever happening. He hasn't had a serious fight yet, and he needs to fight someone real before he can start making demands. I want him to fight Dylan White at the O2 on February 3rd. That would be an absolute tear-up, and AJ would buy a ringside seat for that. Eddie Hearn said that exactly. 50-50 split, but over my dead body. I mean, and again, I think a lot of people...
This is all posturing, though, Matt. I mean, look, he came with the really strong quote, over my dead body. Then he's like, I want him in the O2 with White. So it's basically like, you'll never get this unless you do this. You know what I mean? So he's just trying to entice him, bro. He's trying to lead Wilder in the direction. And again, I continue to repeat on this show in front of Wilder, whenever I get around to publishing it, you'll hear me tell him, bro, it's a good fucking fight. Take the easy money. Point to the easy work. What you going to do in February anyway? It's Valentine's. Knock that side bitch out, as you call him. You know, because everybody's probably like, where I get this side bitch from 2 days ago already. But that's part of the interview. We'll bring it out in one of these days. Whatever.
Another quote from Eddie Hearn saying, that's one of the problems, because you cannot possibly think that a fighter with the commercial value, like particularly Joseph Parker and Deontay Wilder, should warrant anywhere near a 50% split in that pot. And it's not being disrespectful. It's just fact.
And you know what? Maybe it could be argued that Joseph Parker probably brings more, right? Like, how many seats does he sell in fucking New Zealand? Can he and Duco Events put together an offer like, hey, well, won't you fight us over here? Look how much we can get. No, it's not the O2, but at least they can put together an offer. Really. And, you know, I would hope that Wilder is thick-skinned enough, you know, that he would understand when I say he's got the short end of the stick. He's got the short end of the stick here. I mean, he doesn't draw unless he's going to put together a package in Alabama. I know that he and I have spoken in the past about being able to somehow sell out a 110-seated arena in Alabama. I don't know. Is Joshua that guy? Maybe, but not without a proper U.S. introduction. This is why I say building up this fight maybe isn't the right thing. I know people say, Ness, you're a fucking hypocrite. You just flip-flop. You go back and forth. I'm just being honest. You know what I'm saying? If you're thinking like a businessman, if you're thinking like a boxing fan like you and I, yeah, let's do it right fucking now. Let's see it right now. But again, this is a business, and these guys are going to think like that. Look at what Eddie is saying. This is a roadblock, man. He's saying, look, it's not 50-50. What does Wilder have to do to make it 50-50? He's got to raise his profile. You know, he has no serious name on his resume. If he fights Dillian White, that'll be the most serious name. And guess what? Anthony Joshua will show up. He's trying to sweeten up the deal for him. Well, and you know, Wilder needs to take these opportunities. Let's just be honest.
I have two questions. I think, well, in my personal opinion, this is not 50-50 split today. Like, if they were to fight right now, there's no way Wilder gets 50-50 split, but 60-40 I think is reasonable. I think you probably agree with that. But if Wilder was to fight White and beat him, let's say, in devastating fashion in 02, does he automatically get a 50-50 split? I don't know about that. I don't think he does.
He probably doesn't, but it opens opportunities.
True.
And there's one thing that you can't deny about the UK public. They follow boxing very hard. And the minute that Joshua seems to be avoiding him after he destroyed White, that's all they want. And Wilder knows it. You hear it in our interview. He says, they just want to compare me. They just want to compare. Let them motherfucking compare you. Flatten this dude. If Chisora could do that, what could he do? I mean, I don't get, again, but I get it, though. We learned this time during our time in his camp, $4 million isn't enough if you're going from the United States to the United Kingdom because of the taxes. So I get it. Like, why go over there for 4 when you're really coming back with 1.5, you know, after getting cleaned out by the tax man, both in the US and the UK.
I don't even think he really made that big of a deal about that. Like, he doesn't care. Like, if it was Joshua, I'll put it this way. If it was Joshua that he was getting paid that $4 million for, I don't think he would care.
Yeah, I doubt he would go for $4 million, though.
But let's say that would be, in a hypothetical world, that's where the money is, and Joshua only gets, let's say, $8 million, right? Like, whatever it is, who gives a fuck? I think he would take that. He would absolutely do that if it was Joshua.
If it was Joshua, because, I mean, he says something like that, like, you know, oh, yeah, side hoes. He doesn't want to stop putting these people in front of him. Like, he don't want no side hoes. So, I don't know. I mean, you got any other quotes before we open it up?
Oh, we can go to the callers.
Really?
It's a quick show. This is just
There's some other pretty nifty quotes.
I don't have them up right now. I'm trying to be a producer.
I like this one. Look, but they've also got to understand the size of Anthony Joshua, but also understand that we want the belts. The public wants to see those fights, so we have to try and make them. And sometimes a split is needed that AJ doesn't like to get those fights, but we'll see. He's in a great position. So look, at the end of the day, he's still saying he understands that even AJ, to unify, will have to take a smaller cut. So even that 50-50, I mean, you know, that's not even set in stone, because nothing is until you're in a negotiation room, Matt.
Yeah, and nothing's really set in stone till pen is to paper, till stuff is signed.
But I like this one too. Let me get to this one also from Hearns, because he's speaking directly to them being Joseph and Deontay. He says, but they will, and in brackets from the editor, it says, demand that because I'm going to just read through the brackets, right? So, but they will demand that because in their heads, they will think I'm a champion. My belt is on the line. That is the split. If it is their position, of course, the fights will never happen. But Wilder and Parker are still going to get an absolutely giant payday from fighting Joshua on whatever they've offered. They've got to be treated with respect. It's not just a case of there's a couple of million, take the fight. So again, I mean, he's going flip-flopping on all these stern or firm, demands or whatever he's putting out there. He's obviously, keeping the back door open.
And I know we have some UK commenters saying that it's not anywhere. They're agreeing with that here. It's not anywhere near 50-50. It should be 70-30, 80-20. And Wilder's lucky at that. That's what they're saying. And I think it's funny that they're saying that because you brought up a great, I think, comparison. Triple G Jacobs. I mean, Jacobs, in terms of a drawing power, was nothing compared to Triple G. Gate attendance, gate numbers, gate revenue, viewership.
He didn't have a real belt. Like at least Wilder's is a real belt.
Yeah, great point. He didn't even have a real fucking belt, and he was able to not get a 75-25
man. A real belt. Your boy got that belt now. I just want to say, I know it's totally left field off topic, but it's your boy with that belt now.
Yeah, I know. Moreta, what up? Peace out to you. But yeah, so I just think that if Jacobs, who was nothing of a draw compared to Triple G, can get a 60-40 split, you don't think Wilder deserves what?
Well, a 45 split? Do we know it was 60-40 for sure? We know for sure it wasn't that 25. That's all.
Good point. Good point. I thought it was 60-40. I thought I could have read that somewhere. I could be wrong. I could just be.
I don't know. I know that they wey're very hush hush on that. So I doubt that you've seen any finalization of split percentages. But Heyman was in there, and they went in there with a plan not to take 25. They petitioned against the WBA, and this will be no different. There's no one to petition to, but I'm pretty sure they will not even entertain 25% offers. It would be a smack in the face.
It would be. And Eddie Hearn knows that. Eddie Hearn knows that would be a smack in the face.
And again, I think it's just to build the media up and, again, navigate Wilder in that Dillian White direction. And like I asked him in that interview that I have to put out, bro, take the money now, because what's going to happen when you got to fucking negotiate with the WBC after they make him your mandatory? Because after this fight with Lainez, he's going to be like the number 3, or he's already the number 3. And what was his response to you and I, Matt? Man, that shit is all politics.
Yeah.
Might be my mandatory, he might not be. So look, man, the man's got it made up. He don't care about no 50%. He just really wants to fight. He cares about legacy. Like he told you and I, it's not really about money for him. I mean, obviously no one is going to be shortchanged in these type of negotiations, but
in big money fights, you're never going to be shortchanged.
Not really about the money for them.
No, I agree, and I think a lot of people don't understand the Dillian White fight and him not taking it. I think still a lot of fans don't understand it. From a business standpoint, I think we all sort of do understand it.
That's his McGregor fight. That easy fight with big money attached.
I don't think it's that easy, but it's a winnable fight. He is the favorite in that fight, absolutely.
Yo, I think that Chisora hit White with more shots than Wilder hit Stavern.
Yeah, but that fight was also way more like active. Like the Wilder Stavern fight was a jab fest. It was Wilder dictating the pace and controlling the fight with a jab. White Chisora was a war. That was a slugfest. So obviously more shots are gonna be thrown and landed.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just keeping it G. You tend to see wars and slugfests, low-level fighters is all I'm saying.
Keith Thurman, Sean Porter.
That was not a slugfest.
Oh.
Oh, what? It was a slugfest? Keith Thurman boxing on his back foot is a slugfest to you, player?
That was sort of a slugfest to me. It could be a high-level slugfest.
Yeah, you're out of control.
Like, I put it this way, a slugfest of 2 top 5 welterweights is different between a slugfest at your local regional show.
Oh, you can't even listen. You could definitely.
They're both slugfests.
You could definitely use Porter in the sentence with slugfest, depending on opponent, but not in that fight, man. Nah.
Okay, whatever. Digressing to the topic or the callers, whichever you decide.
True. I think I got one more quote.
Okay.
That's one of the problems, because you cannot possibly think that oh, you gave that one, the commercial value one. Yeah.
Yes.
Damn. All right then. So I guess we'll go to some sponsors, and then
are we gonna be back later tonight for a show? Do we want to plug that as well?
I don't know. Do you want to plug it?
Well, I think we should if we're doing it. I don't know if we're doing it though, Ness. You did send me an overlay. You sent me an overlay for a later show.
I did. I'm just showing you that I'm always working. I'm ready. Just in case.
Yes, we'll be back. What time? What time are you thinking, Ness?
I don't know. I mean, as soon as we're done with these callers, it's a matter of
yes, we could come right back and do a show about the Leo Santa Cruz Abner Mares fight being ordered by the WBA. So tune in or keep that hit that bell next to the YouTube channel for the Boxing Voice to keep notified.
Thumbs up right now, especially since you're hearing you're getting another breaking news topic since the WBA
on a Monday
ordered those negotiations to start, and they're talking about November 6th. They want an answer. That's right after the Wilder fight, which would be Sunday, Monday they need an answer. Monday, November 6th. So you guys know the number 1-425-569-5241. Press 1 time. Come on, call us up, voice your opinion, let us know what you think about Eddie Hearn's latest quotes. He's standing firm on the
I think Eddie Hearn has called in, actually.
Yeah, you mean Robbie Hearn.
No. I'm serious. Eddie Hearn actually tweeted us and said he's in the hold in the host room. And I do have a UK number here, so that could be Eddie Hearn.
Is it the 4768?
That could be Eddie Hearn. He did tweet about us.
All right, let's see. Mr. Hearn, is this you?
Nestor, my man.
Oh, it is my man, Eddie Hearn. How are you, man? Listen, I wanted to tell you personally that I love that bit that you did with the glasses. Oh, man. Oh, I love it, man. You're.
I called it.
Go for it.
According to Richard Schaefer and Lou DiBella, that was very disrespectful.
No. That was class. Listen, I've been saying for quite some time now that the rest of these promoters need to take a page out of your book. The way that you're so accessible. I mean, look at this. The way that you're just calling into this show, the way that you're accessible to Coogan and iFilm TV or iFilm London. I mean, you're out there. You give the public what they want. They want answers, and you make sure that they're always there. You make sure you put them on video. You tweet them. You're so active, and it really helps your promotion. I mean, think about 5 years ago. Eddie Hearn wasn't the commodity that Eddie Hearn is now. I mean, look at you. Huh. You're taking over, Eddie. You know that you are. Look at you. You're even dabbling here in the US.
There's just one thing. There's one thing, please. Whatever happens in my life, please make sure you are not my tax advisor.
That he's letting us know he had that old money, Matt.
1.5 million out of 4 million. I don't know what tax rate you're working on, but anyway.
So how much would the cut be? How much does he lose? Because we were just in Alabama, and he made it clear that fighting in the UK means he loses a lot of money.
Well, he's obviously not being advised correctly. Whatever purse he puts down in the bout agreement, and obviously there's many ways and many forms and bands in the POS, you would pay a 20% withholding tax in the UK, which you can offset against your US tax bill. So, for example, if he got $4 million, and probably $1 million of that would come from a US company in terms of the TV revenue. So if he was getting $3 million, he would pay $600,000 in tax, which he could offset against his US tax bill. So actually, he wouldn't lose a penny in tax. So I don't know who's told him that, but clearly they're not well educated on international tax law. But anyway, I don't think we're particularly close to this fight happening. But for me, it's common sense. But
wait, so you said you don't think you're particularly close to this fight happening?
No, the Dillian Whyte fight. I don't think they're forthcoming at all in making the Dillian Whyte fight. And I can't, who makes the decisions?
Well, I did speak to the manager / trainer, JD's, and I'm sure, the video is out. He made it clear that the Dillian Whyte offer is starting to sound a little more interesting, but they would like the Anthony Joshua attached to that contract.
Of course, but that's not going to happen. This is not a carrot to get Anthony Joshua. This is a fight that pays Deontay Wilder a career high purse by some distance. It also gives him a huge amount of international profile. It increases his value in the Joshua fight. You made a very good point earlier. And people talk about the split, and we must be respectful, and we must, this is not a case of me coming on the phone and saying to you, Deontay Wilder's got no profile. He doesn't deserve anything. Of course he does. He's an excellent fighter. He's a WBC champion of the world. He's currently earning probably about 10% per fight of what Anthony Joshua is earning per fight. But we do need him. We do need Joseph Parker because we want to pick up the other belts. So they will be overpaid in some sense in the fight. But also we have to understand in terms of commercial value, Deontay Wilder's not even on the same racetrack as Anthony Joshua. But that can change. And that changes in a fight like the Dillian White fight. I'm making the fight because I think Dillian White can win. I'm not making the fight to increase Deontay Wilder's value. Dillian White is my guy. But what I'm saying is, if you can come over to a packed arena in the UK and beat Dillian White, it makes the Anthony Joshua fight absolutely huge in comparison to where it is now. Okay? So it's not respectful. The offer is very respectful. And it's not a case of, we're not giving him any money to fight Anthony Joshua. We want to make the Deontay Wilder fight. That's very, very clear to us. But we do have many options. And, Deontay has very few options, in my opinion. And outside of the Dillian White fight, what options does he have? They couldn't even get the money together, really, to make the Joseph Parker fight. Because Joseph Parker wants too much money for that fight. And so does Deontay Wilder. And it's not there for the Parker fight. So there's really only two fights out there for Deontay Wilder, in my opinion. And that's Dillian White and that's Anthony Joshua. Unless he's happy with earning the kind of purses that he's currently earning. And he's got other fights on the table.
Hey, Eddie, it's Matt, one of the co-hosts of the show. You said you wouldn't consider making Dillian White a sort of Andre Ward, Sergey Kovalev like a contract. You wouldn't make it where it's explicit in the contract where after this fight he gets Joshua, or after two fights he gets Joshua, whatever it is. Why is there a pushback to that sort of deal?
No, I'm not really interested. Because I don't think that. Firstly, I'm not realised that next couple of weeks. I mean, we've been fighting on Saturday. Then we've got a huge number of offers from international offers to go and fight abroad. We're also possibly looking at the Joseph Parker fight as well. If I'm going to be dealing with that fight on February the 3rd, got to act in the next 1 or 2 weeks. It's not that simple a deal to put together a Joshua Wilder fight in a week or two. And that may frustrate fans, and fans may say, Hearn's talking rubbish. I'm sorry, that's the truth. But one thing I know about the Dillian White fight is that is there now on a plate with the money ready to go. So it all depends. It's not enough money to take the risk. But the other options out there, I mean, what do you want to do? You want to go and fight Brazil for half the money? If every one of these fights that he takes is actually depleting his profile rather than improving it. I don't believe that he wants. I think Deontay wants to. I think he wants to fight Steve. And I feel for him because not happening.
Eddie, the connection is a bit bad and you just dropped off. Oh, man. But there you have it. I mean, at least he called in, which is official. Eddie.
And Eddie, very quickly, if you want to call back in, you can go on Skype.
Yeah, Skype. Just add Nestor Gibbs. You can actually do it on your mobile. I'm sure you have an iPhone because like you told me so politely, you got old money. Oh, actually, no. He said, I don't want you to ever be my tax man because he said I was doing the taxes for Deontay Wilder's purse wrong, not about old money. So I corrected that there. All right. Well, we'll see if Eddie calls back in. We do want to thank him. I want to have the AP, Rob, if you're still up, definitely send him some love and some appreciation for stopping by on the show. I had just hit my boy Deontay up trying to let him know that what was going on and see could we have an old-fashioned Western, but maybe he's still in camp.
Eddie called back in if you want to go to him.
Oh, Eddie called back in. There. Yeah. Well, there you go. Eddie, are you there?
Sorry, guys, I run out of credit on my phone.
No, definitely the connection. So, man, I can't believe that you.
I think I pretty much finished.
Well, we actually lost a little bit. So, if you want to give us at least that last 30 seconds.
Yeah, I was just saying that we want to increase the value in the Joshua fight. We want to build that fight. This fight is nowhere near the size it can be. It doesn't mean that sometimes you get opportunities to make fights and you've got to jump at them. I don't feel the only rush that I feel to make this fight is because the fans want it and the broadcasters want it, and we have to take notice of that. But this fight could be twice the size in 3 or 4 months, and it could be 10 times the size in 6 months. So it's only going to get bigger. But it's a fight we must make at some time. All I'm trying to do is make the fight as big as possible and get Deontay as much money as possible. Of course, get Anthony Joshua as much money as possible, and make it the super fight that it should be, that potentially it's not yet US.
Now, Eddie, let me just ask you, I don't know, a hypothetical here. I mean, you're doing this new business with HBO. You've obviously have done a great job in bringing Daniel Jacobs to HBO, who's still an Al Heyman fighter. So that right there sent shocks, waves through the boxing media, because it was like, oh, wait, HBO doesn't normally deal with Heyman fighters, not in the long term, and you made it happen. So is there a world where Eddie Hearn can maybe put together a 3-fight deal for a Deontay Wilder, maybe sign Deontay Wilder the way that you signed Daniel Jacobs? I know he's with Lou DiBella now, but maybe that contract is up once, I don't know, whenever, and you have your, access to Al Heyman. Is it a better world if maybe you put together a plan for Deontay, 2-3 fight deal that can maximize his exposure not only here in the US, but in the UK, and make that Joshua fight the 3rd fight in that deal, making it as big as it could possibly be? Because when I asked about the pay-per-view sales, he seems to think we're heavyweights, we're automatically going to do better than Canelo Alvarez and Triple G. But what do you think? How many pay-per-views, US pay-per-views, does a Wilder Joshua do now?
Well, firstly, I don't know of his promotional situation. I mean, I think Lou DiBella says he's his promoter. I don't know if they have a contract or what, or how long that is up for, if he has a contract. In terms of the pay-per-view buyers, I think it's nowhere near as big as it should be. I would say that fight currently does 500,000 or 600,000 pay-per-view buys, which I think would be extremely disappointing for a unified heavyweight championship fight between an American and a Brit of the quality. And you have to give Deontay Wilder credit. I mean, in all the things that I say, don't confuse my commercial opinion with my opinion of Deontay Wilder as a fighter and as a person, because I really like him and I think he's a great fighter. So, I want to make that clear. This is not about, oh, he's no good, I don't rate him. I do rate him. And what is frustrating when I look at it is he is a great athlete. He talks really well. He looks the part. He's fast. He's exciting. He can punch. And he's a heavyweight champion of the world. Yet, he could probably walk down most streets in most cities across America, and I bet he would barely be recognized outside of Alabama. And that's the truth. And that's frustrating, because he should be a superstar. And I say that in exactly the same way that I say it about Daniel Jacobs. Learn the backstory. Talk to him. Look at him. Watch him. Watch him fight. There is so many opportunities. America's a big place. You can make a lot of money in America, but I just feel like fighters aren't realising the potential on the promotional side. The fight between Joshua and Wilder must do over 1 million buys. Must do, otherwise it's a complete waste. But it doesn't at the moment. And listen, Joshua's only building in America. I'm not sitting here saying, oh, Joshua's cracked America, he's huge. No. We're building in America. Now, this is our 5th fight on American TV on Saturday, and we've got a lot of work to do. But, you can walk out of Macy's in New York and see Anthony Joshua on a billboard across the street. This is the difference. And in time, he's just only going to get bigger and bigger in America. But I don't really want to do the fight and do to do 600,000 pay-per-view buys, we'd be better off doing it in the UK. Once that fight starts cracking 1 million pay-per-view buys in America, perhaps we have to bring it to America rather than the UK.
And in the UK, how many pay-per-views does it do? Because Wilder made it clear that he's willing to go over there. He understands that he's not the A side. While he would love to have it in New York City, he said he would love to have it in New York City and Madison Square Garden due to Muhammad Ali.
Yeah, we don't. Listen, I'd love to do the fight in New York. And Anthony has no problem with that either. But at the moment, that fight probably does 2 million UK pay-per-view buys. But don't forget, we're a lot more reasonable on the fans at $25 a go. You boys $100. You got the big bucks out there on the pay-per-view. But ultimately, it doesn't matter for Anthony where the fight is. We'll make the fight where there's most money to be made. But at the moment, that's in the UK. That could change. That could change quite quickly with the increased profile of both fighters. But, I think that.
But how do you increase Deontay's profile when Joshua is the one with all the options? Obviously, Joseph is sitting there. He wants a unification with Joshua. It means more money. Dillian White would love a rematch with Joshua. It means more money. Everybody wants a crack at Joshua. If David Haye beats Bellew, he wants a shot at Joshua. It means more money. Now, Bellew's a different story. If he wins, he probably doesn't want Joshua or Wilder. But everything points to Joshua. He's the cash cow in the division.
Yeah, he's the king. He's close. He's the king of the division. He's making, like I said, 10 times more than anyone in the division. And he's the boy. He's the man. But you increase someone's profile by promoting them as a brand 365 days a year, by forming alliances and allegiances with other brands. I mean, look at what Joshua's doing with Under Armour. The value that they've added to his profile has been incredible. But Deontay Wilder only really gets promoted during fight build-up. It might be 4 or 5 weeks, and that's it. It's a 365 day a year operation. Look at Anthony Joshua's social media. Watch the posts. Watch the content. Watch the partnerships, and look at the numbers, and then relate them to Deontay Wilder, and it's levels and levels and levels above, and that's promotion, that's commercial nous, and that's having a team of people around you that are driving a brand. When you're heavyweight champion of the world, you're a brand. You're not just this guy out of Philadelphia who's like 16-3. He just started making his way on the circuit. You're the heavyweight champion of the world. It's a business. You're a commodity. And at the moment, he's fighting in comparison. Like, he's fighting for peanuts. That's the truth. For someone of his ability, of his demeanor, of his character, of his personality, he's fighting for peanuts. And I don't mean to be disrespectful to people who think that kind of money is peanuts. But in the grand scheme of things, in relation to what he should be fighting for, he's fighting for peanuts.
Eddie, we did this whole show because you went on record saying that the split for this fight is not 50-50. That's not anywhere near 50-50. So in your opinion, right now, today, what is the split between Joshua and Wilder if they were to fight?
I don't know. I mean, whatever I tell you is going to be a headline tomorrow. So
that's the beauty of it, Eddie.
I think. I know, but I think you're better off looking at the value of the fight and what a man would accept, or there's two ways to look at it, isn't there? You can look at the split and let your ego drive you on the split and drive you mad, or you can look at the value. So if there's $40 million, $50 million in that fight, just say, right? I'm not saying there is, but say there is $50 million in this fight. You know, does Deontay Wilder take $10 million for the fight? I mean, that's 20%. He's not going to get that anywhere else, is he? I mean, he's not going to get $5 million anywhere else.
Well, he got 5 for the Povetkin fight.
There's two ways to look at it. No, he didn't. The fight didn't take place.
I mean, he was gonna get the 5, and he eventually got it in court because of litigations. But that was the purse, $5 million. I have an interview over the weekend where we spoke about it.
Well,
we actually spoke about you.
He didn't get the $5 million as a person.
We actually spoke about you because he says
that court case is still ongoing, I believe. But anyway.
Well, I just want to address that one little part. I said, how does Eddie Hearn know that Dillian Whyte would be your career high payday? And I said to him, last I checked, you received or were to receive $5 million for Povetkin. It didn't take place, but in court, you got your $5 million. And he said, yeah, Eddie doesn't know. No one knows what I get paid. So, Eddie, just help us out. How do you gauge his purse or a fighter's purse?
Well, quite easily. He does not earn him $4 million for a fight. He has never earned $4 million for a fight. And he didn't earn $5 million for a fight against Povetkin because the fight didn't take place. Yes, there is a court case ongoing, which I believe they're winning at the moment. I don't know too much about it. But he never had the fight. Yes, that was the purse. I believe it was a purse bid. But listen, if I'm wrong and he's never earned $4 million for a fight, good luck to him. I would bet a lot of money he didn't earn $4 million for a fight. But listen, if he has, good luck to him, like I said. But I don't know what he's getting for. I see what they put down on the bout agreement. $1 million, 900,000, sometimes 1.3. So you tell me, is there a bigger chunk hiding behind it? Maybe, but not 3 million. That's for sure.
Eddie, you think that the Joshua Wilder split is not 50-50? Is the Wilder Whyte split 50-50? What's the split on that fight?
No way. I mean, look, if I'm giving Deontay Wilder $4 million for that fight, then Whyte's going to take, well, I don't know, depending on how the pay-per-view does, $1 million.
Okay.
So you're talking more like 25% for Dillian Whyte.
Okay.
But that's not a problem because Dillian Whyte's going to be the mandatory after the Lainez fight. He may have to wait a few months, but when that's called, by the way, the split with the WBC is 70-30. So, in a way, some might be better to wait for Dillian Whyte. You get more money, but we want to do it now. February the 3rd's the date at the O2. It's ready to go, and he can fire through Stiverne on the 4th and go straight back into camp. Fly straight over for the press conference, and have a nice Christmas.
Eddie, last question. I know it's late over there. I want to thank you again. It's been quite some time since you've called in, but we do appreciate it. What could be done to sweeten that Dillian Whyte deal? Because I'm with you. I mean, I told him I just left there literally 48 hours ago, and I told that Dillian Whyte deal is the way to go, especially in February. How do you sweeten this for this man? Because he's dead set on not fighting, and his words, interview will be out later, not fighting any side hoes. He says that Dillian Whyte is Anthony Joshua's side hoe. He wants the guy that knocked out Dillian Whyte, not Dillian Whyte.
Yeah, I understand Deontay's position. I can understand him wanting to go straight into the Joshua fight, but I'd want to do that fight in the summer in a stadium. And the two. One thing's for sure, there's not going to be a fight. It's not a fight that says fight Dillian Whyte and if you win you get Anthony Joshua. That just happens because once he comes over to the UK and if he beats Dillian Whyte, and I stress if because Dillian's our guy and not many people want to fight him. We back him 100% in that fight. But if he believes he can beat Dillian Whyte, and if he does beat Dillian Whyte, then the Joshua fight's natural. And when you talk about 20%, 30%, one thing's for sure, it adds 10% Wilder winning that fight. And if we talk about a pot of imaginary pot of $50 million, 10% is $5 million. Call it a $5 million bonus in the Joshua fight if you beat Dillian Whyte. This is not about ego. This is not about disrespect. This is about good business and good common sense. And this is the fight to make. There's a rematch clause. It's a voluntary defence. There won't be a rematch clause in a mandatory defence. So what's the loss? You know, you fight Dillian Whyte. If you win, your value goes up through the roof, and you get even more money in the Anthony Joshua fight. If you lose, you know what? You can fight Dillian Whyte again, and you get another chance, another payday, and another chance to fight Anthony Joshua after. So, you know, sometimes I think, you know, I talk a lot. We know that, and I answer people's questions, and some people get irate and upset with what I say and think I'm being disrespectful. I'm not. I just answer the questions. I try and point out what I see to be common sense. And I hope Deontay Wilder's team can understand the common sense, because one thing I do know how to do is increase the profile of a fighter, increase the value of a fighter, and make big fights.
I know I said that was my last one, but now that you got this Daniel Jacob HBO deal, everybody wants to know when's Joshua's Showtime deal up, and what is the possibility of Joshua crossing over to HBO?
Well, again, I saw Richard Schaefer's interview the other day where he seemed to think that Joshua has already done a deal with HBO. Not true in the slightest. And there hasn't been any conversations about a deal, no offers of a long-term deal from HBO at all. We're in with Showtime. We've got another fight to go after this one. We're very happy with that relationship. It's been 5 fights now. They backed Anthony in the beginning when others wouldn't. And my deal is not with HBO. Daniel Jacobs' deal is with HBO. I have no exclusivity to any broadcaster in the US. Yes, HBO have opened the door for me, and I appreciate that. And I will continue conversations with them and other fighters about getting them on their network. My position with Anthony Joshua is we are a Showtime fighter. We're very happy. We have respect for Stephen Espinoza and the team. Will we always be a Showtime fighter? I don't have a crystal ball. But what I tell you is we appreciate their support. They've been there from the beginning. And certainly any extension talks after the fight, after the Takam fight, they will be our priority to speak to Showtime because of their loyalty to us for the years.
Well, Eddie, again, thank you. I know it's late over there. Definitely it was a pleasure having you on. We need to do this more often. And I guess good night. I mean, I would say your social media is what I normally tell people, but everybody follows Eddie Hearn at this point.
I'll try. I'm on there too much, but what can you do? You sit up at night flicking.
No,
Some of these opinions get me angry. I've got to have my say.
I love that you're that accessible. I'm telling you, man. It's. I mean, you see what it's done for you anyway, right? You're a household name now. What's up with Brooke, man? You don't want to hang up.
Sad laugh, Nestor.
You don't want to hang up this phone, Eddie. I'll keep you all day. What's going on with Brooke? Why you didn't get him that Cotto fight, bro? How you gonna let Cotto go out with Saddam fucking Ali? Kell Brooke should have got that.
Yeah, that was frustrating because actually, I'll be fair. Peter Nelson did ask me about Kell Brooke, but unfortunately, it was 7-8 weeks notice, and Kell's not ready to fight yet. Obviously, he's coming off the injury. He's healed well, but he's heavy right now, and he's 12 weeks from fighting. So they did mention it to us, the fight, but Kell Brooke's in a position now where he's coming off 2 defeats. A 3rd defeat in a row is kind of career ending, but I want to get him some wins. I want to get him back on the horse. I want to build his confidence and build his love again for boxing. And I really believe he has to move up to 154 pounds because he's a different fighter up there. And, we go back a long way. And he's made a lot of money. But he's had a rough ride over the last couple of fights. So I want to get back on the horse, like I said, get him a good win in February. And then, 154 is a tough division. There's some great fighters. Again, not with huge profile, but very, very tough fights, tough division. But he's a great fighter. And, you know, if he has the desire to return, then I think he can be a threat in the division.
His return fight, it wouldn't be anything like on the level of Liam Smith, right? I know there was some sparring footage of them in the past. Liam fights at 54, or is that, does he need something a step before that?
I think Kel would fancy the Liam Smith fight. I think he's fighting Liam Williams in November. But just a good, solid 154-pound name that he can come back and say, you know, I'm here. I'm here in the division.
I got one for you.
It's all about desire, really.
I got one for you, Eddie. It'll be easy for him too. He'll make a good name for himself, and it'll show if he can handle a good boxer. But the guy's vulnerable enough that Kel could get a knockout. Tony Harrison. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if it does anything. I don't know if it does anything for you in the UK, but I mean, if you want to get some US exposure.
Not really. No.
Yeah, I know.
Not really. He's been offered up, but that's the kind of fight, the kind of level that we got to be looking at to return. It's got to be respectable, but you know, it's got to be sellable as well. But it's all about desire, Nestor, at this stage. You know, I was talking to Anthony Joshua the other night, and he said to me, "How long do you want me to fight for?" And I said, "Well, it's a silly question." I said, "That's your call, but the moment the desire goes, then that's the moment it has to end, because boxing's not like sitting at a desk. You know, when you're in a job and you don't want to be there anymore, you can kind of style it out, can't you, for a few months, maybe a year. But not in boxing. It becomes dangerous, especially at elite level. And the moment the desire goes is the moment you have to hang up the gloves. And, you know, you won't find about that desire for Kel until he gets back in camp. And it starts getting tough and he's getting up at 5 in the morning. You know, how much desire does he have? Like I said, he's made a lot of money. He's won world titles. But sometimes people are more competitive than others. And I believe he has a competitive streak in him that will drive him to return to the top level of the sport.
Man, you went back to Joshua, so let's address this this comment that you made that obviously has Wilder not upset, but I guess scratching his head, right? Somewhere in the media, you must have said that you feel Anthony Joshua stops Deontay Wilder in 3 rounds. So he keeps repeating, if Eddie thinks that Joshua can stop me in 3, why do we need to build the fight up? Why do we need to wait? You know. Uh-oh, did we lose him, Matt?
Possibly.
Uh-oh. Right on, right when it was gonna get juicy, huh? I bet you everybody thinks the pause is because he doesn't want to answer. Look, someone put in the comments, Eddie shaking.
Shout out to Eddie Hearn for calling in.
Eddie, you there? Eddie?
No, he's gone.
Not there. Sure.
Do you hear him?
Well, Ed, if you can hear us, no sense in coming back. I mean, you've done far enough. That was amazing. Thank you. Thank you so much. And actually, you know, why don't you take some of these on the way out? Couple of coins. If this were a poetry slam, we'll give you some snaps. His name is still there. I keep just looking to the left like, should I go back to him? that was amazing that they offered they offered Brooke Cotto. That was nice. That was nice. Wow, didn't this show end up being interesting, Matthew the Hipster Hunter?
Yo, why are you saying that to me? You're the one that didn't want to do this show.
Oh, I'm just saying it ended up interesting, no?
It did.
Let's go to some callers in case Eddie is there. Let him hear your thoughts, ladies and gentlemen. We're going out to the phone lines. Did we ever get to the sponsors? I know we went straight to Eddie.
No, we did not. We did not.
So let's do that.
These calls are brought to you by El Camino Electrical Services, experts in electric vehicle charging stations. For consultations and turnkey installation, visit us at elcaminoelectricalservices.com.
And if you're watching this right now on YouTube, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button. At least hit the thumbs up button for getting the answers from Eddie. At least hit the thumbs up button for Eddie calling in spontaneously. At least hit the thumbs up button because you're here watching it. I don't know. Hit the thumbs up button. Share it. Share the show. Let's go out to one of our alumni callers in the Windy City, the Fight Doctor.
Don't even respect your ass. That's why it's time for the doctor to check your ass, nigga.
Well, Fight Doctor in the house on Rick James status as always. Let me start by saying, Ness, I think you deserve an award. I've never seen ass kicking on that level. Ass kissing on that level before, okay? The way that you were kissing Eddie Hearn's ass, it just gives new definition to the term ass kissing. It's like ass kissing with just ass kissing. Now, having said that,
what?
Eddie Hearn was, yeah, you heard what I said, sir. Oh, and another thing, the Fight Doctor weighed in this morning at 174 pounds. Light heavyweight, baby, so be on the lookout. Super middleweight, you're next. So now, having said that, Eddie Hearn was on point and full of shit all at the same time. Now, let me explain. This whole talk about Deontay Wilder needs to build up his profile, this, that, and the other, there's some truth to that, yeah. But at the same time, how would this man know how much Deontay Wilder is making unless he's promoted the man? And last I checked, unless somebody knows better than I do, Eddie Hearn has never promoted a Deontay Wilder fight. Now, does somebody know better than me? I mean, I've never seen Deontay Wilder fight in the UK.
He answered that. And he answered that. So I don't know where this whole little, spew is coming from. He said that, what did he say about the fight purses, Matt? He said what's put down on the fight purses? And it's never been over 1.3, he said.
Sure.
According to Eddie.
We all know. Yeah, well, we all know that what they put down on the balance sheet and what they actually get paid are two different things.
Yeah, but we all don't know, though. But we all don't know, do we? We all assume.
No,
we all don't know.
Come on.
Come on, what, Matt?
Okay, well, look. Manny Pacquiao has been putting $5-10 million on his fight on his balance sheet for years, and we know for a fact that's not the case. So
what are you telling me? So wait a minute. Are you telling me that maybe Mayweather's the only honest fighter and he's the only one that shows us he makes 100 mil, or is he also getting a big cutback that we don't know about?
No, he does. It was known about that. He got a guaranteed 30-something mil for a Showtime run until the Berto card, but we knew he was making more than that. His guarantee for the bout agreement, I believe, for the Pacquiao fight was only 100 mil, and the McGregor one, every other one was a guarantee of 32 mil. And everything else was above board on the pay-per-view. We know that.
Yeah, but I'm not factoring in pay-per-view.
So again,
but with Joshua, it does matter.
Fight purses don't factor in pay-per. They factor in guarantees. What you getting on Las Vegas that night. Exactly. So I don't know what Fight Doctor's talking about. Just like Eddie said, it sounds stupid to say that Deontay is getting $1 million on paper and $3 million in a back room somewhere. The fuck?
No, but we do have the Povetkin fight. I mean,
so wait. Now,
but what do you mean? We have the Povetkin fight. What? That he was gonna get that purse, and I know that he told us obviously he already got the money from the lawsuit.
He got the money.
What does that mean? He got the Povetkin purse. Explain what that means.
He got literally those words exactly, like the definitions of those words and those words combined into a sentence. That is what I mean. He got $5 million for the Povetkin fight. Whether fighting him or not does not matter. He got $5 million for the Povetkin fight.
Okay, and the man wants to sit up here and deny reality, as if the fight didn't happen. We know the fight didn't happen. However, at the end of the day, the man got paid $5 million. In fact, I think you can consider that being paid over. You can consider that being paid overtime because the man got paid for a fight. That didn't happen, Mr. Eddie Hearn. So,
Fight Doctor, your
whether or not
time.
the fight took place.
Oh, go ahead. I thought you were done there.
Look, whether or not the fight took place is beside the point. What matters is, did the man get paid $5 million? The answer to that question is yes, Mr. Hearn.
Well,
So,
according to Eddie
I think the
Hearn,
bidding starts at $5 million.
Wait, according to Eddie Hearn, last he heard, it was still ongoing. I thought I read something, and I thought I told Deontay and Matt that, but Matt's the producer. While I get to another call, Matt, you should double check.
What do you want me to look?
Was he awarded the $5 million in the Povetkin case? Let's get the facts here. Eddie's still on the line too. I feel like I need to go back to him, but I'm going to let him hear a couple of other callers first. We're going out to Larry in San Francisco. Talk to me. Eddie's listening.
Hey, big ups to the boxing voice. I initially called to get on y'all about that ridiculous 50-50 split, but that's in the past now. Nothing but positivity and gratitude for that fantastic interview, fantastic line of questioning, fantastic candor from Eddie Hearn, and I'm super grateful to get a smidge of transparency in boxing. You just don't see that here stateside. And questions were asked and answers were given, and it was all above board, and I appreciate that. Nestor, I got to give you props. I thought you was going to backpedal on that Povetkin $5 million, but you stood in the pocket, you stood strong, and you came with it. Said the same thing you said yesterday, so go on with your bad self. Hey, keep up the good work, y'all. Love the show, and I'm out.
Larry, thank you as always. We're going to go over to Eddie.
Yes, I found a lawsuit. Oh, my bad.
5 hours of work to do.
Okay, Matt, give him.
There's an ad. I'm sorry. There's an ad.
Another one? Oh my God.
Pop-up ads. You know how that happens when you go to a website. But yes, there is a article here saying that he did win this.
The source.
Oh, hold on.
Give us the source.
It's hold on, I deleted it.
Better be good.
It's an Alabama.
Oh, that's good.
An Alabama outlet.
That's it. That's all you're gonna say, isn't it? You're not gonna say the Alabama ABC, the Fox News Alabama.
It just says
Alabama outlet. That's what it says, Matt. I don't know. We can't believe them then.
I've never seen this outlet before. Somebody sent it to me. 1-18.
Yo, Eddie Hearn was right. Eddie.
I got no. Sorry. They stole this. Not they, but this website took it from the Associated Press. The
Associated Press. That's it. There you go, Eddie. Gotta believe the Associated Press. Is Eddie still there? Oh, and now he's really gone, isn't he? He's gone.
I don't know. Is he there?
Yes, I think he's gone. Damn. I wanted to get to some of these UK calls before.
We have a ringer, brother.
We have a ringer, but we're gonna go to Coach Mitty, aka Mr. Critical.
Yo, what's up, Mr. Nestor Gibbs, aka I cannot take any critics.
No, aka Cherry Picker, aka Cherry Picker.
Yeah, aka Cherry Picker. That's better. I'm glad you said it, and I didn't start a war. Anyway, that's not the topic of this call. I just wanted to shout you out for the good interview. I'm glad that you guys got to hear it, and I was checking on the chat as well, and it seems like Eddie Hearn's words of wisdom was well perceived in the US. I mean, I don't necessarily always hear promoters on the US side talking very often, but to me, it seems like Eddie was just very transparent with his information, just like Larry said, and he answered the information, or he answered all the questions like quite realistically, and he didn't try to hide facts, right? It's very rare for a promoter to answer a question about a fighter that they're very invested in, like Kell Brook, and say that, yeah, actually the Cotto fight was offered to them, and he didn't feel that, it was the right fight for Kell, and he feels that Kell needs to have like a softer touch to get back into the grooves of things. So, you have to shout him out. And also it was good for him to just give everyone a lecture on like the world of like the business world of like negotiating and taxation as well. He got to clarify a few points that Deontay Wilder might have got like slightly confused regarding international tax. So maybe you want to check out with your boys and, ask him if he really knows what is going on with his business and with the money that is coming into his accounts. But hey, that's all I'm going to say. That was a great interview, and I hope you can get some more. So that was nice, man.
All right, Coach. Well, thanks for calling in as always. We're going to go out to a ringer.
Yo, first of all, let me
saying I don't pay Showtime to see you all damn not even putting a goddamn motherfucking effort. If I want to see some motherfucker just fight, I pick up a fight with somebody in the street. Don't need that shit. You don't love that form I do? Just move along. Gone. Fuck you. Next. What a great show. Thumbs up, donate.
Hey, yo! People. Eddie, they goddamn heard something this bitch. Yo.
We hear you, Georgie.
Hear you. Low energy.
All right, my nigga. Yo, that was beautiful, bro. That reptilian Eddie Hearn gets a pass. The reptilians will get a pass. Let's not criticize these motherfuckers and just enjoy the fucking call. That was fucking amazing, beautiful. I'm fucking, yo, I don't even believe this motherfucker even called here. Great. Why all the fucking reptilians cannot call the show beyond my understanding? But
maybe because you're calling people reptilians. I don't know.
Oh, baby, but what you want me, if they don't show no empathy for humanity, how you want me to describe these people? I already pay my Showtime. I'm willing to pay the purpose.
He showed something, right? He showed something. He took time out of his day. It is 5 or 6 hours.
There you go. So
it is 5 or 6 hour time difference, right? It does make it midnight over there. So I don't know. He showed more than any other promoter has ever showed. That's what I can say. I know Oscar's never called in here at midnight, or Bob ain't never called in here at midnight.
That's what I'm saying. So if this man continue this trend, then he's gonna get out of the reptilian category. We're moving right there. He's back to being a human being. Let's settle with that. Now let's talk about the split. Okay, what made Wilder believe that he got any type of negotiation power to ask for anything? He got to shut the fuck up. What Eddie gonna do the Parker fight, collect my money, and maybe never even fight Wilder? What made Wilder think that he got anything? What, the WBC fucking Mafia belt 4 years ago? Come on, man. What the delusional? Somebody got to really have a conversation without sucking his dick. True. My nigga, you pack no shit and you ain't got nothing to bring to the table. That's the bottom line. Reality situation, shut the fuck up. That's that. You do all the crying you want to do, that's not going to help you. Get mad at me if you want to, but that's the reality. It's the reality, B. That's the reality. We can't be going around the bush with this shit. Too long, we be fucking dealing with this situation for a long ass time, B. And while they're coming here, man, no, we don't want to hear shit. Shut the fuck up and get whatever the fuck they give you. That's it. Listen, AJ is the only one that can put Wilder in history. He's the only. If you don't care about money, like you say, turn out $5 fucking million, give $600,000 for the fucking 7 money. Worse than fucking fight.
All right, Georgie, do you ever listen to the playback? Do you ever acknowledge? Have you ever been notified? Has anyone ever told you that 90% of the time on a playback, it's very hard to understand or hear you? But Matt, you had something.
Out of the craziness that was Georgie call, like it always is, he did say one thing that kind of makes sense. And I want to combine it with what you have said in the past about Miguel Cotto, about Danny Garcia, Keith. All these guys need that Miguel Cotto, and you can't let that go.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously, it's a little bit different because Miguel Cotto is retiring now, and Anthony Joshua is in his prime, so Anthony Joshua is going to be around for a bit. But it's that same way where it's like Joshua's that fight for Wilder, so you just need to take it in a way. Not saying that you pay bad money, but there is a concept there. There is some truth there that you should just you shouldn't make that many demands if that's the fight you need. If you need that and he doesn't need you.
But is he making demands? Is he making demands? I mean, according to our interviews, bro, he just wants to fight. I mean, it doesn't sound like a man that's making demands if he's saying, yo, I'll fight in New York, I'll fight in Vegas, I'll fight where Joshua won. They won it in the UK, I'll fight him.
I know that Eddie Hearn.
I'll fight next.
I know that Eddie
fight, it could be them. So what demands could it be possibly putting?
I know in one of the Eddie Hearn quotes from these articles, he didn't say it when we interviewed him. We probably should have asked him this, but he said that Wilder has asked for 50-50.
I mean, from the quotes I read, it was a hypothetical, and him saying that they would assume they deserve 50-50 because their belts are on the line.
This exact quote: "The deal in Wilder's head is a 50-50 split."
And obviously, he's assuming that deal is in Wilder's head.
We don't know, though. We don't know if there have been calls between Al Heyman or Eddie Hearn. We don't know. We should have asked that.
Maybe. You're right.
I'm not saying there were calls. I'm saying we just don't know. So if that is a demand, then you can't be demanding that. If Wilder is demanding 50-50, and that's a big if, then he has to come back.
I don't believe that when you and I were just there and he had.
I know. I don't believe it.
He made it clear that he understood he's not the A side. So if you're not the A side, how do you demand 50-50? Come on.
I can probably agree with that. That I don't get that feeling from Wilder that he's making those demands. But we still have to address it. I think if he is making those demands, and I said if it's a big if, then I don't agree with those demands, and he needs to fall back on those because he's not gonna get the fight, and this is the fight he has to get. So he has to take some.
There's time, man. I think there's time. I think, boxing is funny. I heard Eddie say, what's he going to do? Fight Brazil for less money? Which is true. But Brazil is fighting who on the undercard now?
Eric Molina.
Eric Molina. Brazil can raise his profile. Brazil has that storyline. And I like Brazil after the Azunu win. He keeps showing moxie in the Amir Mansour win. He came back from behind. The Azunu win, he came back. He went to Anthony Joshua's home. He didn't do the best, but he tried his best, I guess. Let's get to some other callers here. We're going out to
another ringer.
Stainless in Detroit.
Straight to the point for those with attention deficit. I'm so repetitive, so I gotta repeat. Stainless from the streets to the deep. I'm coming with that heat. All you need to know about me, I'm coming with that heat.
Yo, TBV4L. What's up, Mac?
What up, Stainless?
What up?
Yo, to be honest, man, I just used my ringer. I swear y'all need some more boomerangs. I need some more boomerangs so I can get back in, because half the time on that first one, I'm just halfway through that first one. But I just called in to say thank you for this. I just got off work, so, I'm going to rewind first off because I saw the Eddie Hearn thing. Second, I just wanted to make the point to say, let's show you how big TVV is, because yesterday, I could tell y'all was getting under some of them UK callers' skin with that Joshua protector shit. And today y'all got Eddie Hearn on there. Probably doing some more Joshua protecting and stalling. I'm going to be honest. I ain't listened to it yet, so I'm just making accusations. But, since y'all have done this interview, since I'm about to go back, I'd appreciate it if y'all would get into that, because y'all know Wilder's side. Now y'all have heard, what's his name, Eddie Hearn's side. So do you think that that they stalling out? You know what I'm saying? Because, we are from the streets of America.
Listen,
That means we know top hustle.
We're talking to Eddie Hearn, man. He's a promoter. And, people are saying I'm kissing his ass. No, I just understand business. I got my own business that I would love to see grow and flourish. So he wants to see this fight do the best that it can do. Can Wilder be right and he secretly thinks that Joshua's going to lose? Yeah. And if he does, why not it be the biggest that it can be? Not to mention that he didn't even talk about rematch. Actually, he did. He said, if we do it now when it's not a mandatory, there's no rematch. If there's a mandatory, there is no rematch. And listen, bro, like Wilder wins, there's a rematch. Wilder loses, maybe no rematch, right? But Wilder wins, there's a rematch. And if there's a rematch, there's a possibility of a 3. There's money in this fight, but I do agree with Eddie that especially if you're gonna talk about White in February, I like that. Go White in February, because the Joshua fight is still could happen in June or something or September.
And I don't disagree with you. You've been very on point with what you've been saying in the last 2 days, especially as far as something that people don't tap into, which is heavyweights don't hit their prime until later, and like later on. It's not in their 20s. It's usually in their 30s. Foreman, stands alone is one of those who came back even later in his life and was able to, or in his career was able to do that. But there are a lot of boxers who, I mean, you could talk Holyfield, you could talk Lennox Lewis, like, who didn't even start to come to their prime until they hit their 30. So that's one point that you hit on to. And then I agree with you. Like, I love Deontay Wilder. I've been a big fan of his since I saw him fight Bermane Stiverne. I know that's not a long time, but up until then, like he was saying, like, I haven't been fighting the best competition. And my man fought, you know what I'm saying? And he fought for 12 rounds. And he didn't talk like, oh, you know, like, yeah, I had to fight 12 rounds, but now you see I can go 12 rounds. I have a problem with that too. So he's clearly an honest guy, man, who does take the business first. But just like the rest of us, you know, we got that, you know, we wear hard on our sleeve where we ain't scared to speak how we feel. You know what I mean? And I get that from Deontay. Some people might call it whining. You call it that if you want to, but you're talking about a man who just wants to fight. And I agree with you, though. Give it a little time to simmer, because we already won it as fans now, and we ain't talking about like Golovkin and Canelo where it's 2 years waiting. 2018, maybe early 2019 doesn't sound like a bad time, you know, like it's a far off time from now. When you're talking, we already at the end of 2017, and both of them got fights in the next couple of weeks. So, you know, it's speaking from a fan perspective and a business perspective. I totally understand that. But what I'm asking you is, based on last night and hearing all those Joshua protectors, was Eddie Hearn, you know, not the promoter, but Eddie Hearn talking like somebody who was a Joshua protector, or was it more like Wilder was, you know what I'm saying, he wanted more? Because from everything I've seen in the videos and everything y'all telling me, it sounds like Wilder just wants to fight. So to even be talking about a 40-50, like that just sound like rhetoric to keep us stalled out and keep us talking about the fight, like, which I don't mind, but if that's what it is, then just say that's what it is. You know what I mean? So, like I said, I appreciate this, man. I'm finna go on and one. Go ahead.
Eddie did say that the fight should still be for 2008, December 2018. So July, they're looking.
I don't mind that plan. To be honest,
I don't think that's not too far away.
Listen, Wilder needs to. Listen, Stainless, I'm going to get to some other calls. Thanks for calling in as always and for being a Patreon. If you want to know how Stainless got straight off of work and call right in, head on over to patreon.com/ThaBoxingVoice. Find out about all our perks. And everybody's been asking about the new shirts that me and Matt were wearing on our Deontay Wilder interviews. Those are Patreon only, unfortunately. It's a Christmas gift. We're going out for all our Patreons on Christmas. I was going to say, I don't know, all that.
What you going to say something about maybe the business being okay, like it being in the summer of 2018?
Well, yeah, definitely. That's exactly where I wanted to go. That if Wilder could lock in that Dillian White, raise that profile, maybe he could snatch that Joseph Parker. Because listen, you keep waiting, you know, Anthony Joshua is going to beat Takam and be available to negotiate with Joseph Parker. Why not? Then he has 4 belts. Now you get less of a percentage. Like, there's no time to waste is all I'm saying.
Eddie did say that if Wilder beats White, he will add 10%.
Yo, that's how he sweetened the deal. Let's see all the writers that steal that quote. Let's say give us some sources.
Let's say the offer 70-30 or whatever. It goes from 70-30 to 60-40.
Yo, like, if you were a writer, that headline for your article would be Eddie Hearn sweetened deal for Wilder, says Dillian White worth 10% bump in Joshua fight.
Yeah, that's easy. That's an easy headline.
Easy.
And it's reasonable. And again, I think we can all admit that
10% is worth $5 million. That's a lot.
Easily. And think about this. I think a lot of people agree that Eddie Hearn is putting Dillian White in front of Wilder, so as a roadblock in a sense. But we can also, I think most of us agree that that's smart business for everybody involved, including
more for Eddie though. More for Eddie because
I don't know. I think it's a big positive for Wilder to get that White fight.
Yeah, because you're only looking at it from Wilder's perspective, but from Eddie's, you get Deontay Wilder out of the way. Now he's busy. Win or lose, you know, he's still.
You got an opponent for Joshua.
Yeah, win or lose, he's still busy. But if he loses, now you got a possible rematch with Dillian White, or Dillian they could shit on Wilder and go straight to the Anthony Joshua. But who knows? Because the WBC's on the line, probably rematch calls, like he said here on the show. It'll be a rematch. He makes even more money, right? But while he's entertained with Dylan, even for that one fight, it's what I just said. You're just not listening. They have the liberty to negotiate with Joseph Parker, and if you get that 4th belt, no one else matters. Like Deontay has nothing to grab on if he allows Joshua to get that 4th belt. You know, yeah, you got the WBC, yeah, Muhammad Ali, but how long did Vladimir Klitschko reign with 4 belts? And his brother had that other one. And even when that other one was vacated, it took time for it to be legitimized. And even now, Deontay struggles with being legitimized by that belt. So let's be honest. Let's not act like Joseph can't just go fight Anthony and Anthony win that fight and go on to do what Vladimir did, bro. How many times did Vladimir fight in Germany in front of 60,000 not American people? Versus what was that guy's name? Char and guys like he fought Takum too. He fought all those guys. You know, bunch of nobodies that we didn't even care about. We didn't start caring about Vladimir till HBO decided to pay for the David Toe fight. You know, but anyway, callers. Gary, no, actually it's Jay in Orlando. What's up, brother?
Nothing much, fellas, man. Hey, man, wonderful show tonight, man, because I ain't going to lie to you, man. I was calling in to chew Eddie Hearn out, but until he called in, he showed y'all some love, man, and he gave y'all, that's the one thing I love about Eddie Hearn. Say what you want to say about the guy, but he's the best promoter out right now. He's the most accessible. He knows about everything that's going on. He ain't like some of these other promoters that he shies away. Like, he loves attention, and he loves getting his fighters' attention. That's something that you need in this day and age. And I think because he's younger, he understands social media way better than a lot of these older dudes who don't want to be accessible and don't want to do vlogs and stuff like that. Real quick, we were talking about with Wilder getting getting another paycheck, like a direct pay from Al Heyman. That's been documented, and that was actually in the Golden Boy lawsuit and in the Top Rank lawsuit. They were talking about the Julio Cesar Chavez when he did the photograph of a check directly cut from Al Heyman. So that's been actually documented. So we do know that fighters from Al Heyman CDC do get another check under the table. I think Wilder's stuck between a rock and a hard place right now because he has no leverage. He has no fan base. I mean, I'm a fan, other people are fans, but it's not that many. It's not huge like how Anthony Joshua is. So he kind of has to take and he kind of has to listen to the demand, but at the same time, you don't want to bitch yourself out. At the same time, let's say if you do take the fight, you do end up losing. Now you don't have any leverage for a renegotiation, and you got to work yourself way back up. So you gotta, it's a double-sided sword. So the biggest thing, what you said though, is he's got to get that Joseph Parker fight. If he gets the Joseph Parker fight, that changes everything because now he has more leverage. That's what I got, fellas.
And leverage is key. And that's from where I'm standing. Joshua has all of it right now, Matt.
I don't think Deontay Wilder beat Joseph Parker and got another belt, he would magically have more leverage. The WBC doesn't give him leverage. It's fan base. It's how many people can you get?
Oh, it does give him leverage.
No.
Negotiation room, it gives him leverage, bro. You can't act like two belts. All right, I'm not gonna argue with you with that. You're in your own world with that one.
Ness, what's more important? Belts or how many people you can get to watch?
Belts. That's why every fighter aligns themselves to get it. That's why every fighter pays sanctioning fees, Matt. You're in a dream
world.
That's
why Canelo will give up a belt at any point because he doesn't give a fuck.
And that's why he didn't, though. That's why
to have people to watch him.
That's why he didn't, though. That's why in the beginning he was very cool with the WBC when he was fighting the likes of Alonzo Gomez and fucking Cotto.
That before he was a star. Now he's a star.
Exactly, because all fighters need the belt. Now he's bigger than the belt, Matt.
But the belt doesn't make you a star. A belt does not mean a star. That people watch you.
The belt makes you a star. It does make people watch you because the belt is what the networks want.
We can name more champions that are not stars. We can name more champions. We can name more champions that are not stars.
This guy's hilarious.
Are there more champions that are not stars, or are there more champions that are stars?
You lost me, bro. You lost me with saying the belts don't matter when everyone knows that they do.
Do you not hear the words that come out of my mouth? I mean,
No, I told you lost me.
Say it again. Do you want me to ask the question? Are you gonna answer the question?
I'm lost
Are
already.
there more stars that have belts, or are there less stars that have belts?
Let me ask you this: would his Landry Laura been more likely to be off the card last Saturday if he didn't have that belt, or on the card?
I don't think
Versus
it matters.
that same opponent.
It didn't affect viewership.
Versus that same opponent.
We're not talking about stardom.
Exactly.
That's not a question about stardom.
Come on, Matt. We need
being on the card doesn't mean he's a star. Do you not understand what the word star means?
As a team, we need to learn to give up. There's going to be times you're not going to change my mind, and I won't change yours. You love to just consistently argue. Like I
don't know why you're getting so upset about me. Just
oh no, I'm not. I'm saying that we need to find a happy medium. That's all I'm telling you, because I'm not gonna sit here and argue about belts not mattering when I know that they do.
I just want you to answer
every child, every boxer,
answer one question.
Every pro, they all pay those sanctioning fees for a reason.
I like how you cannot answer one question, but we can go on to the callers.
Okay, that case, we're going out to Ohio.
Like I know, you should lie low. Killer, I used to get it in Ohio.
Yeah. What's up, fellas, man?
What up?
Excellent show, man. I'm loving it. Yo, I'm gonna try to help bridge the gap between you and Matt's convo, because I mean I do agree with Matt, you know what I'm saying? As far as belts don't matter to a certain degree when you want to become a star. When you want to become a star, it's about how many people you're going to get to buy that pay-per-view and where you're going to be able to have the fight at actually, and how much money you're going to be able to make. So obviously right now, Joshua got the upper hand because he can fill out, $50,000, 50,000 fan arena. And, Wilder can't do that. If Wilder still had that one belt that had the same fan base that Joshua had, but in the United States, he could ask for 50-50. But unfortunately, in the United States, he doesn't have that type of following that Joshua has over there in the UK. So that's why, yes, every fighter wants to have a belt. So yes, belts do matter to a degree. But when you want to be a star and when you want to get that big check, it's about how many people you're going to get into that seat and buy your pay-per-view. I do like the call by Eddie Hearn. It was, I like Eddie Hearn, man. I've been liking Eddie Hearn. He tries to be transparent, but, he's still a promoter at the end of the day. And what he's doing does make good business sense. They have to get more of the casual fan to get behind this fight. And they can do that with heavyweights. You know what I'm saying? So, because, honestly, here in the United States, don't too many people really know Anthony Joshua. That's real. So I think they can try to make Anthony Joshua a bigger name to the casual fan, and hopefully by 2018 that does happen. But yeah, that's my call.
All right, brother. Well, thanks for calling in. We're going out back to the UK. David Beanie, what up?
Hey guys.
What's up? Did you hear your boy Eddie?
I did, yeah. How can any US fighter not want to be with anyone else after listening to the interview? All the guys that haven't got promoters, Wilder has got promoted, but I don't know why Wilder can't listen to that and think, what am I doing with Lou DiBella? And the same as the guys, like Errol Spence and Sean Paul, I don't think has a promoter, does he? So all those guys that don't have promoters, I don't know how they can not listen to that and think, man, I've got to get with this guy. He makes it happen. The other point I wanted to make is, we're talking about the route or what gives Wilder the most leverage going to Joshua. The one that gives him the most leverage is the White fight, because one thing AJ does, he listens to the people. When he walks around the streets of London at the moment, no one is saying, when you're going to fight Wilder, because no one in the UK, other than the hardcores, have seen Wilder fight. Like, his fights aren't really, there's obviously, some of them have been televised at 5 a.m. And, it's not like he's in the newspapers or anything, whereas, at least Parker has been in the newspapers. and there's obviously Hay and people are saying Dillian White fight. No one has seen Wilder fight. So if Wilder fights White on pay-per-view, and
he did fight Audley Harrison in the UK, didn't he?
That was like 6 years ago and he was like probably 5th on the card. So he was like miles down the undercard on that fight.
He fought out there though. For you to say no one's seen him, bit inaccurate.
No one would know that, or I'm talking about the casual audience, the people that are obviously going to.
What about
the average guy on the street that AJ sees day in, day out? No one is going to know who Deontay Wilder is. But what I'm saying is, more than the Parker fight, if he goes and knocks out Dillian White, when AJ walks around the streets of London, everyone will be saying, when are you going to fight Wilder? When are you going to fight Wilder? And AJ listens to the people. He will go, you know what? People are calling for me to fight Wilder. I'll fight. At the moment when he walks around, people are saying, oh, when are you going to fight Fury? Even
David Beanie, would you consider yourself a hardcore?
Yeah.
So why do you care about the people?
No, I'm saying AJ cares about the people.
But why do you as a hardcore, you're still putting the AJ protection plan in play?
No, I'm merely stating the easiest way for Wilder to get that fight is not the Parker route, it's the White route. That's what I'm saying.
I don't know. I would disagree. You leave that belt out there, and I don't think Joshua needs Wilder. He already doesn't need Wilder. With another belt, he really doesn't need him.
No, but he will do, because the people will demand that fight in the UK. Everyone will be going to AJ, when you fighting Wilder? When you fighting Wilder?
I mean, it's possible. It's possible. It's possible. I do believe that narrative. All right, well, there you go, Beanie. Thanks for calling in. What up, Matt?
We got another ringer, Mr. Bobby Arum from across the border.
Across the border in Canada. Is it Canada? Canada. Yo, compa hit me up on Patreon the other day.
Popping all this champagne, popping all this
rose,
getting money like Jose, chain code Norway. Shorty wants that full play. I'm like, no way. Gotta rock it like Coldplay, killing. Getting cheese like Green Bay. Call me Aaron Rodgers.
Jose.
Hey guys, what's going on?
What up?
Can you guys hear me?
We hear.
Yes, I can hear you.
What up? I know with this whole border wars thing going on, America versus the U.S. have been kind of
America versus the
maybe
US.
negative. So just wanted to throw you guys some props, man. To be honest, this is the guy who's at the level of Oscar De La Hoya, Bob Arum, man. So to have him call in on a, I don't know what is it, a Monday afternoon here, just casually and just talk to you guys, man. That's pretty cool, man. So congratulations to the two of you guys, what you guys are doing, man. You guys are obviously doing well. Keep growing the brand. It's good for us listeners. Anyone that calls you guys ass kissers, man, it's just the truth. Of course, man. You guys got to do your job, man. And part of that is schmoozing with the guys and being able to get the content so that when the big fight finally does happen, you guys can be down there in the UK, man, because that's definitely the graduation of TVV, man, having you guys down there. So as for that, the guy is a cool guy too, man. He's really the only cool guy out of the UK since James Bond, man. Everyone else is just a bunch of pale-faced, fish and chip eating losers. But no, I'm just kidding. But he is a cool guy. That's all I really wanted to say, guys. So just props to you guys and just make fun of some UK guys at the same time. That's it, guys. Peace.
Yo, send the footage, Jose. Stop holding back. We're going out to Orlando. Majid, talk to me.
Yeah, man. Let me roll these windows up. I don't know. I just go from the feeling of my stomach, man. And when I heard that, like Eddie Hearn talking, I just got bullshit all written around it because they're just trying to make it sound better on the Dillian White offer instead of one thing that none of these UK fans could fucking say is that if y'all want to put Anthony Joshua at number 1, Deontay Wilder is ranked number 2 in the heavyweight. Fuck the belts and all that shit. I think the belts matter and the unification. So for all of them saying that it don't matter, they just full of shit, because if motherfucking Wilder fights Dillian White and that's a fucking boring ass fight, they're going to be like, all right, well, maybe he need to go fight Chisora or something, make it exciting so more people. They say 18, 19, so that could be 1, 2, or 3 fights, and Eddie Hearn and them just feeding this bullshit. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, that fight need to happen. And all these UK pussies that's sitting there making excuses for them. If we accept this excuse now, then later we gonna fall for the bullshit if they don't want to fight next. You know, so I ain't buying it. Eddie Hearn full of shit, just like all these little UK dick riders. They scared for that belt to come to USA and now want no unification. So now they trying to talk about fucking belts don't matter. That's why I don't like Matt, and he need to stick to MMA because he be talking that bullshit. Fuck a superstar. Whoever win will become a superstar. You know what I'm saying? So fuck that. That's all I got, man.
Well,
I'm sorry that star power dictates fights happening more than belts.
Yeah, but a fighter.
I'm sorry,
isn't a
business.
star.
I'm sorry, boxing is more of a business than a sport.
But why can't you admit that neither Joshua, neither Klitschko, neither Pacquiao, nobody, not Mayweather, none of them motherfuckers wasn't a star till they got their first belt. None of them.
Again, I've never said belts don't matter.
That's exactly what you said.
I said star power matters way more than belts. Come on. When it comes to making a fight happen, it matters who's watching you. How many people are watching you?
All right.
It doesn't matter how many belts you have. It matters how many people are watching you.
You all the superstars and you know, you still all right. Iron Sal.
Sorry, that's just a
What
fact.
up? What up?
Yo, what's up, fellas? What's up, man? What's up, man?
What's good, brother?
It's nice to see that you guys are. It's nice to see you guys are together after last night's show on Patreon.
Matt don't want that work. Matt don't want that work.
Shut up, cherry picker.
He's fucking ducking at 140.
What? Who am I ducking, Ness?
You ducking me?
Sal, what up? Just go to your call. Ignore this guy. Man,
instigator.
Keep it nice and short, bro. I was actually on my way to the gym, but or inside to go inside. Well, I'll put it like this, man. I actually tuned into the show about 5-10 minutes ago. I had some stuff to do, so I didn't get to hear the interview. But I'm gonna go back later on and hear it definitely. But how I feel about the whole Wilder Joshua thing, what I gotta say about that, man, is look, at the end of the day, off of hearing Anthony Joshua's quotes and all that, anybody that says bum squad and hates towards Wilder, and Wilder hasn't done this, Wilder hasn't done that, that shit is all irrelevant now that your boys over here talking about it might be premature, it might be this. Like, I can understand when he starts talking about the whole promotional side, like, oh, they want to build it, okay, but when the man himself is talking about it might be premature, there's only one thing I can think of. He's not confident in himself. So anybody, all these other people that hate on Wilder say, oh, he's windmill Wilder, he's this, he's that. Well, the man that's supposed to fight him obviously sees something in him that he feels that's going to put up a fight against him, if not knock his ass the fuck out. So everybody needs to miss me with that bullshit and give Wilder his motherfucking credit. Honestly, the whole thing of Wilder, like this fight not being 50-50, I can honestly say, like, yo, as of right now, it honestly shouldn't. I mean, if they give him even a 30-70, I honestly feel like Wilder should take it, just because it's like one of those things you have to lose the battle, which is the money, to win the war. And I feel like Wilder would win the fight. So sometimes you just got to bite the bullet, man, take the loss, and then go ahead and take the fight, and hopefully you get that superstardom, especially over there in the UK, because everybody that knows that the boxing market's in the UK right now. It's just plain and simple. It is what it is. The fans are a lot more fucking. They stand behind their fighters, man. So, I mean, that's all I feel. I just feel like, yo, all these people that hate on Wilder need to start showing that man some fucking respect, because if fucking Joshua seen him like a bum, like all you guys keep claiming, or he has no names and he's all this, then the man would have been fought his ass. Plain and simple. Man, that's all I gotta say, man. I gotta go work out. You guys getting my blood going.
All right, Sal. Thanks for calling in. Let's go out to Scorsese.
All right, I'm gonna play Matt's friend in this one, and hopefully he don't give me no damn sound bites. But Matt is right, man. Deontay Wilder does not fit the mold of what Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao had to do for big fights. He's kind of fitting the mold of Oscar De La Hoya without actually being a gold medalist. What he's doing, or actually being the man people is coming to see. Deontay Wilder has been promoted to be a beggar, and he's second place for a reason because of that. So in this instance, his belt means nothing because the U.S. fans, they playing his beggar ass friends, and they like, we just want to see this big fight, no matter what you've done or haven't done. So I agree with Matt. You can strip every belt Deontay Wilder has, and they just showing up hoping that Anthony Joshua get knocked out. But the belt don't mean shit. Eddie Hearn gave you the term. You need to let Eddie Hearn be your promoter. He's doing more for you than Al Heyman doing. Al Heyman hit the lineup. Lou DiBella hit the lineup. No, Eddie Hearn is now your fucking promoter because he can get you the most money out there. Period. He's your promoter. Eddie Hearn, his name should be Eddie Sperm. Because all you boys out there, he just turned y'all into his kids. All you U.S. fans that call in and say, you know what? Now that I think about it, Eddie Hearn, he ain't that bad of a guy. All y'all that was talking that bomb squad, Eddie Sperm, not Hearn to you boys. No more, no longer. It's Eddie Sperm. And I like that he does that. Al Heyman, get your old ass something called the boxing voice one day. We sick of you. We tired of your nonsense. Eddie Hearn, we appreciate you from all the way over here, down south, out here about where Wilder stay. I salute you for telling that bum-ass nigga what the fuck to do. He finally need to get off his rocker, quit listening to Ness, pat him on the back, because Ness ain't going to put no damn, no championship on his waist. He ain't going to put no damn 10 million, 15, 20 million in his pocket. He just gonna give him a feel-good slap on the back. You deserve to try to get more than that. Eddie Hearn giving you the chance, and he is your promoter now. When they announce your next bout, they ought to be saying promoted by Matchroom and blah, blah, blah in association with whoever the fuck they in association with, because he is your promoter. 15 million you can't make nowhere else. I don't care what your little backhand check say. You ain't made no 15 million. There. That's the call. Keep it up, Matt. School him a little bit more for me.
Yeah, Anthony Joshua wasn't the commodity that he was until he got that Charles Martin fight.
No, he wasn't well, first off, he was already sort of like a name.
Matt, you can't start a sentence off by saying he was already kind of, sort of.
He was. I mean, I'm not from the UK, so I don't know that. But he was featured heavily on Matchroom cards. He was already headlining before then, from what
I'm sure he was, Matt, but he wasn't the heavyweight champion of the world.
That's true.
And those words,
but again, hold on.
a lot.
But the second you become a star, the belts don't matter.
But it mattered.
Belts don't automatically. Hold on.
Let me tell you how much it mattered. It mattered $5.6 million. That's how much it mattered, Matt. Let's just get on with the calls, yo. You're trying so hard not to lose this argument, bro.
The belt didn't make him a star. It's great.
There's some fuck shit going on.
I know, D.
I told y'all a long time ago, the Kirkland will go down 3 rounds.
Right hand. Stop me up. Next, I got milk, baby.
Yeah, the milkman is back. So here's the thing with the whole belt situation. I agree actually with both of y'all. The belts do matter in a sense that when you are on your way up, the belts are used as a bargaining chip when you aren't bigger than the belt. Now, what happens with people who become superstars, obviously you transcend the belt, a la the Miguel Cottos, the Manny Pacquiao, the Floyd Mayweathers. Once you do that, it doesn't matter if you have a belt or not. And the way you become a superstar, in the wise words of Ric Flair, to be the man, you got to beat the man. So that comes first.
Yeah. So last I checked, Charles Martin wasn't the man. But that belt was something.
Well,
you think that IBF made Joshua a star?
He was the man who had the belt. He was the man who had
I most certainly think that IBF made him a star. The minute he became heavyweight champion of the world, he started doing pay-per-view and he started being who he was. Stop it.
Yo, his style, his persona,
he was
the way
just
he was
a heavyweight gold medalist until he became heavyweight champion of the world. You can't say that with a gold medal, Matt. He's trying so hard, but he's failing.
I'm not failing. Most people are agreeing with me, Ness. It's okay.
Weirdos like Scorsese that after years telling us he's in China now all of a sudden Scorsese who's in China for years says I'm right here next to Deontay Wilder's hometown and I think that Matt's right. Man, get the fuck out of here, bro. The guy's credibility has been shot. Go ahead, Smile Milkman.
And with that being said, so you have to beat the man. Okay, so here's the thing. I love Deontay Wilder. That's my dude. But if I'm gonna speak honestly, I think Deontay Wilder needs Joshua more than Joshua needs Deontay Wilder. I think ultimately what's going to happen, and I didn't catch the beginning of the interview you did with Eddie Hearn, but I think Deontay is going to have to go across the pond and take them straps off of Joshua. I think it's financially more lucrative for him to go over there for both of them than for it is for Joshua to come over to the States. I think Joshua would have to do more campaigning in the States, 2 or 3 fights. I think right now, if Deontay Wilder went over to the UK, a fight from now, 2 fights from now, that fight could be big. So I think right now, when you talk about who has the most leverage, I think obviously it's Joshua. That's my call.
Obviously. Dan, Deontay was sparring, Matt, but he did hit me, and he's like, yo, ask him. Well, he actually said, did you ask him why Joshua keeps talking about in the media how long I've been a pro compared to him and him needing more time when he has already fought someone with way more experience than I? That would have been a good question. That would have been a good question. So, Matt, we have a moment of silence there.
Yes.
You know what that was for?
I don't know what it was for.
Your whack-ass narrative that just died.
It's not whack. I can name more champions. Hold on, Nestor.
You don't need a belt. You don't need a belt.
That's not what I'm saying.
Even though I never met a superstar that didn't have a belt.
I've definitely met superstars that didn't have a belt for a period of time.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, Canelo Alvarez.
Yeah? No, he started with a belt.
But he was a star at one point without a belt. That's what I'm saying. Again, Ness, I don't think you understand what I'm saying.
No, I think what happened is that you're trying to flip it. I made it about Wilder not allowing.
Look, Wilder has a belt, and he's not a star.
Last belt. No. You see, that's where you went to the WBC. You like, oh well, he already got the WBC, and that didn't help. What's Joseph's belt gonna do? It's about negotiations. We went all the way left with it because you wanted to make it about belts not mattering when they absolutely do. It's negotiation power. But anyway, those are my final thoughts. I just want to say thank you to all the listeners that continue to listen, the haters that continue to hate. You still make us great. You heard Eddie call in. You see how this show gets noticed. It's because of you hating so much and all those little chat rooms and stuff like that. I love it. Thank you. I hope you know every time you type, it's really a tag, and it helps with the search terms. Google bots are crawlers, and they're amazing. So thank you guys. Thumbs up. Thumbs up for more Eddie interviews. We were going to do the Leo Santa Cruz. I don't know. It's getting late here on the East. I'll see if Matt is not sleepy. I know he's got to go to the gym or something like that.
I already went to the gym today. Anyways. Oh, you didn't get out social media. My bad.
Yeah, my social media is Ness GTO on Instagram and Twitter. Check me out on Patreon. I got my vlog there where I'm beating up on Matt.
You aren't.
Well, in my vlog, he gets beat up.
Sure.
Little nose got blood and everything.
No, it didn't.
I didn't say what day.
Oh, you were posting what, the old footage of
posting? I mean, what you saying is not up already? That's been up. What do you mean?
I don't know. Well, when did you post that?
What do you mean?
Did you post that after the Border Wars? Never mind. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Why are you worried? Sounds
confused. I'm just confused.
You sound so
that
nervous.
footage forever. I thought you posted it already.
I don't know. You sound nervous.
Why would I sound nervous? Anyways, I am Matt Hipster. You can find me at Mixed Combat News on Twitter, Matt100TBV on Instagram, and my MMA podcast, Mixed Combat Radio, on Patreon, SoundCloud, YouTube, iTunes, etc. And remember, there are more champions that are not stars than there are champions that are stars. Peace.
There are more champions that are not stars than champions that are stars. And remember, since we're doing taglines on the way out, and remember, none of those champions became champions without the belt first.
Remember, short money is bad money.
Whose shirt was that? Cash Weezy's?
No, that was Steven's.
Steven's short money's bad. Yeah, but he said it because that's a Cash Weezy phrase. He said.
I said that. I started that. Try and give that to Cash Weezy. How dare you?
What, short money being bad money?
That's from me.
But that's not even cool. Who the fuck doesn't know that having a little bit of
you just laughed and thought that was cool the second it was casual, but now it's me. You're like, oh no, let me hate on that.
No, I'm just saying you're acting like it's all that, and it's like, bro, who doesn't know that if you have a little bit of money, it's a bad thing?
We can just cut it. We can just go.
Yeah, exactly.
It doesn't matter. Ned.
I don't want to argue. Shirt.
You argue for so long.
Shirt. You made it a hot rhyme. You made it a hot shirt. I made it a hot rhyme. Yo, Matt.
Yes. Yo, shout out to Canada.
No, that's to you.
Who am I ducking?
You're the Eddie Hearn of TBV.
Who am I ducking?
Call you Roadblock.
I ain't ducking anyone.
Call you
I don't know
Roadblock.
who you're talking to.
Call you Roadblock.
I've taken on challenges left and right since I've started.
You are the Eddie Hearn of TBV.
Remember, go to patreon.com/ThaBoxingVoice to get all Border Wars content. And we did have an overtime last night that did get it pretty heated. So tune into that.
Peace.